Right now on KPIX 5 and streaming on CBSN Bay Area, our special coverage of campaign 2020. What are the leading experts in public opinion polling with where the race stands just weeks before the election?
Yeah, Bay Area get out the vote effort with a long reach. How workers here are trying to shake up the race several states away.
Plus months of protests calling for racial justice. Why a new initiative for statewide affirmative action seems to be losing traction. Good evening, I'm Elizabeth Cook.
And I'm Ken Bastida. First at 5:30, the state of the presidential race. And this evening, we're joined by Kathy Frankovic. She is one of the world's leading experts in public opinion polling. Kathy, welcome. And let's talk about how Biden and Trump are faring in the latest polls. What's going on?
Well, I should say that the latest polls are, in a way, not so different from the polls we've been seeing for a month or more now. The latest Economist YouGov poll, which was conducted Sunday through Tuesday, has Joe Biden up by 10 points, 52% to the president's 42% among likely voters. That's almost the same as it was just a few weeks ago when Joe Biden was up by 7 and 8 points in the poll. We've seen a lot of stability in this race and in the election preferences that likely voters have expressed.
Okay, so these are national polls, and they look at everything from coast to coast. I'm wondering, do they drill it down to look at these states that are really key? These states that like Florida and Ohio and Iowa. Where are those candidates sitting right now?
Well, the national polls would not do that because they simply don't have the, I would say, bandwidth in the critical states. But there are an awful lot of statewide polls that are being done now. CBS News is doing them. Pretty much every news organization is doing them. And what they're suggesting at this point in time is that a lot of the states that we deem toss-ups, that we think are going to be close on election night, Joe Biden is doing much better than Hillary Clinton in those states and is ahead in several of them. So we have Florida, we have Michigan, we have Wisconsin, we have states that that Hillary Clinton lost in 2016 that conceivably this year could move in Biden's direction.
Interesting, because I think last time in 2016 we had Hillary Clinton, of course, up double digits. At this time, actually, right before the election. And, Joe Biden is kind of in the same position, give or take a few points.
Yeah.
How accurate is this polling? That's what everybody really wants to know.
2016 is making people ask that question. One of the things that happened in the Hillary Clinton-Donald Trump race is that as the election got closer, the margin got narrower. So we were talking about perhaps 6 points, then it was 3 points, then it was 2 points, then it was 4 points. And actually, she did win the popular vote by 2 percentage points nationally. At this point, this race has been so stable, there are so few undecided voters that you're not likely to see the kind of shift take place at the end that took place in 2016. Now, obviously, that could be wrong, but with people committed, and nearly all of the people who say they support Biden and say they support Trump say nothing would change their minds at this point. So this is a more stable race. The difference is clear, and the difference hasn't changed all that much. With debates, with COVID, with all of that.
All right, Kathy Frankovic, thank you for that expert opinion on the polling.